All right, let's talk about financial bubbles. Sounds complicated, right? Well, we're going to break it all down with a super simple story. Imagine a jungle economy where monkeys trade bananas and the only currency, leaves. So let's start with the basics. What's a banana for? It's for eating. Pretty obvious. In a sane world, its value comes from, being food. A monkey works hard, earns some leaves, buys a banana, and eats it. That's it. Simple. But what if that all gets turned on its head? What happens when that same banana, something that literally grows on trees, is suddenly worth 100 leaves? Now that is where things get interesting, and it's the big question we're tackling today. So here's our game plan. We're going to follow the whole wild ride, from a monkey earning an honest living to a crazy banana buying frenzy, and then the inevitable crash. And along the way, we'll see what this little jungle story can teach us. Okay, first things first. Before any of the crazy stuff can happen, a monkey's got to make some leaves. So picture this. Our monkey's working on a banana farm, putting in a hard day's work, and getting paid. Nothing fancy, but it's a living. So let's say our monkey earns 100 leaves for his work. Great! But just like for us, not all of that is take-home pay. A chunk of it has to go to the monkey government. Yep, even monkeys have taxes. It's everyone's contribution to keep the jungle running. And what are those taxes for? Well, they pay for everything. We're talking monkey hospitals, schools for the little ones, police and firefighters, even roads and public transport. And hey, maybe they're ambitious. Maybe it even funds the monkey space program. All right, so our monkey's got his leaves, he's paid his taxes, he could go buy a banana and have a nice meal. But then, something changes. A new idea starts to bubble up in the jungle. And suddenly, eating the banana isn't the most exciting thing you can do with it. It all kicks off with a little rumor. Just a whisper at first. Hey, have you noticed there aren't as many bananas around? And that one little thought plants a seed in every monkey's mind. If something is rare, it must be valuable. And boom, the frenzy is on. All of a sudden, nobody's buying bananas to eat. They're buying them to sell to some other monkey for more leaves. And the price? It goes nuts. 1 leaf, then 5 leaves, 20, 50, all the way up to an absolutely insane 100 leaves for a single banana. And that, my friends, is what we call a bubble. It's when the price of something just completely detaches from its real-world worth. The whole game shifts. It's not about the banana anymore. It's about finding the next monkey who's willing to pay even more than you did. So you gotta wonder, how does this get so out of hand? How does a silly rumor turn into a full-blown mania? Well, it comes down to 2 things, really. The weird way monkey brains work, and a financial tool that's basically like pouring gasoline on a bonfire. First, let's talk psychology. It starts with classic FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. You see your neighbor getting rich off bananas, and you want in. Then you've got herd behavior. Monkeys see, monkeys do. If everyone's buying, it feels like the smart thing to do. And pretty soon, this creates a really dangerous idea that the price can only go up. That belief fuels a feedback loop, where more buying just pushes the price higher, which makes even more monkeys want to buy. The other big accelerator here is something called leverage. Put simply, this is when monkeys start borrowing leaves from the monkey bank. They're not just using their own savings anymore, they're making much, much bigger bets with borrowed money. Let me show you how powerful and dangerous this is. Without leverage, if the banana price goes up 10%, you make a 10% profit. Simple. But with leverage, you might put down just 10 of your own leaves and borrow 90. Now that same 10% price rise doesn't just give you a 10% gain, it gives you a whopping 100% return on your own money. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the flip side. A tiny 10% price drop completely wipes you out. You lose all your leaves, and you're still in debt to the bank. So you've got this bubble being pumped up bigger and bigger with borrowed leaves. But here's the thing about bubbles. They always pop. The party can't go on forever. Eventually, reality comes knocking. And it often starts with just one monkey. Maybe he's a little hungry, he looks at this banana he paid 100 leaves for and thinks, wait a second, this is just a banana, you eat it. And that one simple, totally obvious thought is all it takes. It starts to spread like wildfire. And then panic. Absolute panic. Everyone rushes to sell at the same time. But now there are no buyers. And the price? It collapses. I mean, it crashes even faster than it rose. From 100 leaves all the way back down to 1. Poof. All that value just gone. Remember leverage? This is where it gets truly ugly. The price drops and the bank starts making calls. All those monkeys who borrowed leaves, they're forced to sell their bananas at any price just to pay back their loans. This creates a fire sale, flooding the market with even more bananas, which pushes the price down even further. And that forces more monkeys to sell. It's a vicious, brutal downward spiral. Now, this whole monkey and banana story might sound a little silly, but this exact pattern plays out in the real world all the time. Think about something like a crypto rug pull. It's the same playbook. Scammers build up a ton of hype, get everyone to pour their money in, and then they sell everything at once, crash the price, and disappear, leaving everyone else with worthless digital tokens. The asset changes, but the human or monkey psychology? It's exactly the same. Okay, so after all that chaos, what's the takeaway? How can we spot the next banana frenzy? And more importantly, avoid getting caught up in it? Let's break down the lessons from the jungle. It turns out most bubbles follow a pretty clear four-stage pattern. First up is discovery. Some new, exciting thing appears. Then comes the boom when the early adopters start making money and everyone else starts piling in. That leads to mania, the phase we just saw, where prices go vertical and completely lose touch with reality. And you know what comes next? Panic. The mad dash for the exits. So knowing these stages gives us some major red flags to watch out for. For example, when average people, your friends, your family, suddenly start getting rich quick off of one thing, be careful. When you see tons of people borrowing money to invest in the same asset, big red flag. And maybe the biggest one of all, when you hear everyone saying, "Oh, this can only go up," that's usually a pretty good sign that it's about to go down. And all of this brings us to one final, really important question. This story, this cycle of boom and bust, has happened over and over again throughout history. The asset is always different. Tulips, dot-com stocks, houses, bananas. But the human story is always the same. So I'll leave you with this. When you look around at the world today, what do you think is our banana?